Hello, lovely people, and welcome to the Distinct and Jovial podcast. It is the 17th of December. It is 20 to 10 at night. My name is Dominic, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Jerry. How are you doing today, Jerry?
Bonjour, Tom. Je suis très bien. Et tu?
Oui, I think. my French is like, let's go for like less than schoolboy.
Fair enough. You alright, Keys?
Yes, I'm good. That's a bit more my style.
Diamond.
I'd like to point out that me and Jerry have been talking for about 15 minutes based on the recording time, and we've just been discussing everything from chocolate bars to our current company. So,
and spoons.
And spoons. Weatherspoons, that is. This is episode number 7. We're already at number 7.
Wow. No, on a serious note, that's amazing. Feels like it was just the other day when we started this, and I was a young lad, very nervous.
You were very nervous.
I was very nervous. It was like my first day at school with my blazer, with the sleeves way too long.
You're growing
intimidated by all the other podcasters in the playground. A lot bigger than me.
Bigger than
my lunch money. Yeah.
Again, before we dive into anything else, we just want to reiterate that the views that we express in this podcast are our own. And they don't represent the company that we work for.
Exactly. So
and no lunch money is stolen when we're at work. We can't guarantee that. Don't think I've lost anything at work. Oh, dear. But I do have an important thing, and you've written a note. I have to address a mistake I made in the last podcast, Jerry. I made a massive error in the last podcast.
What?
Do you know what it was?
What? No.
Yeah. I got ridiculed. Laura, the guest that we had on, she absolutely slew me. I said that because I said that the song "A Whole New World" is from Lion King, and it's not. It's from Aladdin. That was my mistake. I put it all in. Dom made a mistake, and you're thinking, "Oh, this serious?" No, I mistakenly put "A Whole New World" and said it was from The Lion King.
I have a message for you, Laura. Fail stands for first attempt in learning.
And based on the feedback that I've had from people that have read it, that listened to the last podcast, yes, I hold my hands up. I made that mistake. I wouldn't say it's a first attempt. I'm pretty sure I've made the mistake before. I think that's my guilty things. But this is the first time I've said it on a publicly broadcasted.
I have heard people that have committed heinous crimes that eventually want to confess their sins and repent. I've heard less of an apology from them than I have from you for just that one little faux pas. I wouldn't sweat it, Dom.
Yeah.
The world's going to keep turning.
The world's going to keep turning. Just means that the list of films that I mentioned throughout the podcast, you just got to add Aladdin and The Lion King. I mean, it's not like...
Yeah, exactly.
At least they're still both Disney films. That's my excuse.
Exactly. I didn't even spot it. What does that say about me?
I won't say what Laura thought.
Wow. Okay. We need to get Laura back on here. Definitely.
Oh dear. Please be nice, Laura. Obviously, it's the 17th of December for us, so this will come out on the 1st of January. So we're recording this before the holiday season. So we're going to call it our Christmas special, I think, even though it comes out after Christmas. We'll call it our holiday special, to be all inclusive. We will warn people now. This might not be distinct and jovial, but this might just be two grumpy old men talking about certain traditions that we think are overrated. Shall we say? Is that the polite way of putting it?
That was very polite. I like that. I've got so much pent up aggression 48 years worth. That's just all going to come out on this podcast.
Yes. Is it as bad as flat pack furniture and tea lights?
It's, trust me, flat pack furniture and tea lights.
On a scale to
nothing.
On a scale to flat pack furniture and tea lights and McDonald's not serving a breakfast before 11 a.m., where does this sit?
Okay, so let's take a scale of 0 to 10. Okay. 10 being things that really get on my nerves. Right? And 0 being things that just don't bother me at all. I'd say tea lights and flat pack furniture are probably around a 3.
Okay.
McDonald's not serving a burger before. Somebody told me it's 10 o'clock, not 11.
No, it's definitely 11. It's definitely 11.
Isn't it? Okay, so 11 o'clock.
But I could be wrong based on my current form within these podcasts.
Don't worry, if you're wrong, Laura will put you in stocks in the middle of Jovial and people will walk past and go, boo, and throw vegetables at you.
Interesting fact, I have been in stocks before.
Oh, yes, you told me about that. Part of your taekwondo.
Yes.
Yes.
Sponges thrown at me.
Sponges, that's it. See, I've got a good memory.
Mm.
Christmas and everything related to Christmas.
Oh, sorry, where was McDonald's? You didn't say where it was.
Oh, yeah, so that was about 6.
Okay.
This whole topic of Christmas and everything related to Christmas is it's about a 9.
Oh, okay. We will find a 10 topic by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll chat about that offline so we can spoil it.
Explore the 10 topic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I might just call that clickbait title, Explore the 10 topic. Which will only make sense if you listen to the podcast and won't make sense in a clickbait title at all. So
exactly.
Whatever. Yeah, I just have to thank Yevgeny for his last one for the clickbait title from last time. That was brilliant.
Oh, yeah. Talking of that, I'm still in this hole. I'm waiting for the rope ladder.
We're gonna need. Well, I think by the end of it, we might as well just carry on digging before everyone comes afterwards with pitchforks and torches at the end of the Christmas season.
Fair enough. I think everyone's going to hate me after this. Well, hate me more than they do normally.
Yeah, I suppose we can start with just giving our overall opinion on what we think of Christmas, and I'm happy to say I do like Christmas in a sense of I like having the time off, and I like being able to relax with family. I don't like I was going to say Americanized, but I think that's a bit like almost racist, but it's not. It's I don't like the dramatized versions of Christmas, like what you see on TVs and films and things like that. I think that's the bit that gets to me, and some people can go overboard. I think that's where I am with Christmas. I'm just curious to see where you are, especially as you've had children, so it might have changed.
Yeah, now Rachel's 18, Christmas should be banned. Sorry, you're taking a sip of your water then. Where I'm with you. It's too commercial, and it's too much hype, and it's just boring now.
Mm.
And interesting point that you said about you get time off. So at Easter, you always get the Friday. You get the Good Friday and Easter Monday. So you're always guaranteed 4 days in a row. You're guaranteed your long weekend.
Yes.
But if Christmas Day falls on, let's say, a Wednesday or a Thursday. Let's say it falls on a Wednesday.
Mm.
Right, you have to, and you've run out of holiday. You have to work on the Monday and the Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're knackered on the Tuesday. You go to bed. You wake up in the morning, and it's flipping heck, it's Christmas.
Mm.
Then you put the giant vulture in the oven and let that cook for like 14 hours. And then you finish cooking and serving and doing all the roast potatoes and peeling all the veg and everything, and then everyone's just sitting around on their arse going, "Ooh, do you have a cup of tea?" I could murder a cup of tea. You go, yeah, okay, because I haven't done enough today. You know where the kettle is, but by all means, no, don't get up from your seat. I'll sort this out because I've only been on my feet since 4:00 in the morning. and then you finish doing all of that. Then everybody says, oh yeah, let's play a board game. Then they leave your house at like 11:00 at night.
Yes.
And then you spend Boxing Day basically in a semi-coma because you're so knackered, and then you're back at work.
If you've got no holiday, yeah.
If you've got no holiday left, you're back at work on a Friday. Is it really worth it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag just saying.
Hashtag just. I mean, I think that kind of gives a quite good interlude. But it's interesting. I think, because I 100% agree in that if my Christmas was like that, I'd be like, oh my God, just throw me under the bus now, right? Don't step on the brakes, just... But I think what the beauty around the way that my family do Christmas specifically is we don't do after crap, if that makes sense, right? You know, and we'll go into it a bit. I think we'll go into a bit more. We'll go into a bit now because otherwise, because we've got some individual specific things that I think in our poignant questions, which are all like Christmas related, and it might take us onto our food. But for example, where we don't have turkey, because I do like turkey, but not like a roast turkey. You don't get like this. There's, for God's sake, there's 4 of us, right? And okay, at the moment I eat for 2, but we don't need to buy a turkey the size of Jupiter, try and fit it in the oven and do all these roast potatoes. So, we do a normal roast dinner that we'd normally have on a Sunday with something that we like. So it's no more arduous than doing a standard roast dinner. So it's a little bit more stressful than, if we're just picking up a takeaway or something. And then we don't buy, the obsession, I think, is that we're going to buy enough to feed the 5,000. Well, no, how about you just buy enough to feed the 4 of you that are there? And done that. I think that the most fancy that will go out is we might buy we'll buy fancy puddings because family are not big pudding people. So we might buy like, I don't know, a roulade or a crumble or if mum's got rhubarb in, she'll make a rhubarb crumble, which top notch. But that's why I think Christmas is more successful. And I love that you're covering yourself, stopping yourself laughing. But you can laugh, Jerry.
I didn't want to interrupt, but you're right. It's the lack of common sense. I think you've just summed it up perfectly. I think the thing that just really pisses me off the most is the lack of common sense and perspective goes out of the window when it comes to Christmas. And you can have some really inane things that are done and said at Christmas time that you don't do any other. Well, I say you, that's like the royal we do it any other time of the year. I was just thinking about getting a turkey that's just so big it's got its own gravitational pull. But then
I said Jupiter.
It's large, lots of gravity. Some bright spark came up with the idea of the bird in a bird. You have like a hummingbird in a sparrow, in a blackbird, in a pigeon, in a very large quail, in a duck. Have you heard this?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever tried the bird in the bird? Okay, so there's this concept now. You can buy a bird in a bird.
So they've killed 2 birds and stuck one bird inside it. 2 birds or 1 stone. Sorry. Some of you may understand that if you've watched enough YouTube, but I suspect some others might not. Sorry, carry on.
But it could be more than 2 birds. Usually it's about 3 or 4. You're looking perplexed.
For the obviously because you're all listeners and you can't see me, I am looking quite perplexed. I definitely had Jerry probably would have described I'm looking in pain because I'm thinking.
Trust me, those birds are in more pain.
Well, not necessarily because they're normally dead.
But yeah, you can get bird in a bird in a bird.
Well, it makes no sense. And
the bird is the word.
And I mean, that's just the food, which we can go into a bit more depth when we do the food item in a second. But like all the other bits around Christmas, we don't buy 30,000 gifts that take 4 hours. Especially not as when the youngest in my family is now 26. Yeah, 26. So it's a little bit different. I mean, spending 4 hours just opening presents.
That's just what I mean. Look, we are going to take Christmas and we're going to decompose it into its individual elements.
Oh yes,
we're going to strip away all of the mystique and all of the the coziness of Christmas and the magic of Christmas. We're going to strip all of that away and we're going to break it down into its raw, nonsensical components, and people are going to realise, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah. We're two grumpy old men that are going to put some logic back in this world.
Yes, indeed.
Right. Oh, God. Right, so we move on to, food specifically. So
let's do it.
I've written, a Christmas food tier list. Now, don't get me wrong. As much as I'm possibly getting to it a bit in the health item, that I can't stand, going into Christmas and overeating. But that doesn't mean that there aren't foods that I do prefer. In terms of, if you're going to get a food that you're only going to get for Christmas, you've got to get this. So I've written my notes as just God, average, and in the bin. What needs to go in the bin? Just get rid of that. It's not required. For example, Brussels sprouts in the bin. End conversation. There's no discussion around that at all.
I agree. Doesn't matter how you try and dress it up. You try and, even if you cook it in amazing ways, like with fried bacon or fried lardons and a bit of garlic, and you're just glittering a turd. Just chuck it in the bin. It's like that meme of somebody that says, when you're cooking kale, use loads of olive oil so it's easier to scrape it into the bin. That's Jerry's cooking tip for the day.
Yeet.
Have it.
I mean, it sums it up really when it's to make some of these really healthy things, you've got to pour all these unhealthy things in to make it taste nice. It's if that's the case, just in the bin.
Yeah, just chuck it in the bin.
Brussels sprouts
Job
in the
done.
bin. In the absolute bin. Just pour olive oil. That's the best phrase that I think I've heard in the last 3 weeks. Apologies, headphone listeners. I know when I laugh very loud, it's very loud. Oh man. Oh, just yeah. You can't. I don't know how to follow that up. I don't know how to transition this along into something else. I'm trying to think. It just doesn't work. Well, we still got the jovial bit, which just when you've got comments like that, the only problem is Jerry's currently crying.
Right, okay, maintain composure. Woo. Right.
I had to say that before we started. The outtakes from this episode are going to be incredible.
Oh dear.
We will do a compilation of them on our 12th on our 12th podcast.
Yes.
What else can get in the bin? I've written down two leftover sandwiches is the other thing. If you've got too much food that you've got leftovers, you have to have it in sandwiches. Again, in the bin.
Yep. Just put your foot down on the pedal. Open the top lid of that bin. And chuck it in.
Yeah.
Slam dunk it in.
Yeah. 100%. Oh God. Do we need some olive oil with that?
No.
Let's switch it to at least some good things. What food wise, what do we love about Christmas? There's an opportunity to actually have. I mean, I'm a big fan of mince pies.
I like mince pies. Yeah, and it's a shame you can't get them all year round. So I'm with you.
Yeah. I have this big, like, internal rage that I can't get mince pies in July. I can't buy Easter eggs in October.
Yes. Yes.
There is no point in... Well, I say Easter eggs. Cadbury's cream eggs specifically. Because that is beyond God tier. There aren't...
Like, you can't beat a good cream
I,
egg.
I want to know, like, the secret to the internal... I've always wanted to know, like, the secret to the internal filling of a Cadbury's cream egg. And I've wanted to get an egg, Cadbury's like a normal egg, and fill it. I'm doing hand gestures, listeners. So I want to get, like, an Easter egg, the ones that size your face.
Like a dinosaur egg.
Yeah. Ostrich, dinosaur, your choice. Bird within a bird, ostrich within a chicken. That doesn't work.
They're cousins.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Birds are the direct descendants of dinosaurs, aren't they?
Mm.
So when you look at a turkey, it's quite creepy.
Yes.
Look at a turkey really carefully and you go, "Ooh, God!" If you had like the dinosaur version of that millions of years ago, like a 50-foot turkey running around, you'd shit yourself.
The pterodactyls coming around. Yeah. I agree. Yeah, but I have this like internal rage that I can't get mince pies in like July or Easter eggs in like Cadbury's cream eggs in October. There isn't anything, and then so mince pie should just be all year round. That's like one of the few things. And then I just love the fact that I don't know why we don't do it more often, but cheese and crackers, I just think should be, you can do that any time of the year, but I do love cheese and crackers.
I have a confession.
What's that?
I do it all year.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
Yeah. Love cheese and crackers.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Have you got any specific cheeses you do like?
Morbier.
Okay.
Gorgonzola. Dolciolata. Stilton. Cheddar.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. Do you get
double Gloucester?
We've talked about this.
Leicester.
So we always get like you always get like fancier cheeses. So you always get things like applewood smoked cheeses and things like that. I think I know your opinion on this. So you can get like ones with like apricots and cranberries in it.
What's the golden rule, Tom? What's the golden rule? Thank you. Stick to the rule. Oh, what's this? Oh, cheese. Oh, right. What's it got? Apricot. As in the fruit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slam dunk in the bin.
Cheese with fruit in it. Cheese without fruit in it.
Honestly, why would you do it? Stop messing around. Just quit with the fruit.
And then, I mean, like, and I also like, you can get like chili cheese.
Oh, I do like chili cheese. Yep.
Yeah. Because that's a vegetable, not a fruit.
Thank you.
Is it actually?
I think
I'm probably going to get slewed because I think a pepper is technically a fruit, isn't it?
Oh, come on. Wait 1 second. Really? Tomato is?
Yeah. But it's like knowledge is knowing tomato is a fruit. Intelligence is knowing not to put it in a damn fruit salad.
Yeah. And you wouldn't put pepper in a fruit salad.
Yeah, but is it? I don't know. That might be. Is it a fruit? I'm gonna have to Google
draw
that.
the line? What else is a fruit?
Pepper is a fruit. Does that mean that chili?
What is that? You've just Googled that, have you?
Yeah, the chili pepper is the fruit of the plants from things. So, damn it.
Tom.
I think it's the sweet fruits and cheese just don't go. I always find that really tangy. But yeah, chili cheese is god tier. Chili cheese is absolutely god tier.
It's god tier.
Yeah, because even when it's too hot, because you're eating dairy, it like solves itself.
It does.
So it's like a perfect combination.
It's like drinking White Russians. You get pissed, but then it lines your stomach at the same time. So you're kind of getting pissed but sober at the same time. And that's why when you drink White Russians, you can drink like a whole bottle of vodka and Kahlua and not realise. Because you're kind of still semi-sober.
So for a slight deviation, apologies listeners, but planning to do White Russians for New Year. So Laura, who we had on a guest, we're going to visit Laura for New Year, all bearing current pandemic situation. So, and on the menu will be snowballs and White Russians.
Oh, snowballs as well.
Yeah. Snowballs
Love
is
snowballs.
Laura's favourite drink, I think. She said, yeah, pretty sure she said it was her favourite drink.
I love snowballs.
She said it was
White Russians.
It was her favourite cocktail, but she says it. But it's basically this and this, so it's not really a cocktail. It's just two things put together. That's like saying Jack Daniels and Coke is a cocktail. Is what it's comparing a snowball to.
I think she's right, because it's just avocado and lemonade, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But it's classed as a cocktail, whereas Jack Daniels and Coke isn't. So
let's revisit that.
Yeah, let's revisit. But
Let's pin that on the board.
We'll do an
We'll come back
alcoholic
to that.
special.
Yes. I like it, Dom. I can hear you tapping away.
Yeah, I'm adding to the notes so I don't forget it. I've just written it like in the introduction.
I love that.
So just this introduction alcoholic special.
I like both our expressions in that light bulb moment, and then you hear the.
Sorry, I should have put a pencil here, shouldn't I? Idiot, Dom. Oh dear. Back to our food, or try to, after my mechanical keyboard has gone off. The only other thing I've written down in God tier is roasted anything. I think, like, even roast potatoes are the best way to do potatoes. End of conversation.
Yes. They
roasted butternut squash, roasted swede, roasted carrots. Just roasted anything is just the best way to do anything.
I think you're right, because I like a roasted vegetable medley. And you can take anything and just chuck it in a tray, drizzle it with olive oil and roast it.
Yeah.
And it tastes great.
Yeah. Is that just us being like we want to be slightly closer to the devil, where we just want to just roast everything? This is just us preparing for hell that we're inevitably going to go to.
It's like the menu on 667. The neighbour of the beast. Ooh, what's that? Devil will be like, what's that? Always smelling roast. Oh yeah, that'll be Dom and Jerry at 667. Oh, okay.
With our vegetable medley.
With our roasted vegetable medley
and potatoes. Yeah, and roasted anything, because the other thing to go in the bin is some people have mashed potato. Mashed potato is just the worst way to do mashed potato, and is the worst way to do anything. Mashed.
So, Dom, we're having like a stepbrothers moment. We just become
best friends. On the
can't
count of
stand
3,
mash.
name your favourite dinosaur. Velociraptor. Who's the one guy that you'd sleep with? John Stamos.
John Stamos. Favourite none. I don't know if I can say it.
No, you can't say the rest. You can't say the rest of that
I'm not gonna
sentence.
say it.
I think
I'm
we
not
said it
gonna
last podcast as well.
Yeah, you're right. We can't do it. But yeah, mash.
Yeah.
I really have issues with mash.
Mashed anything.
Yeah, mashed swede.
Yeah.
Mashed. What else can you mash?
Well, any vegetable mashed, any like bananas. People that mash bananas and eat bananas.
Oh.
So I know people that like mashed bananas on toast. And the flavour's not the problem; it's the texture.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, which is why I don't. It's one of the reasons I don't like avocado from our first.
Yeah. I think I'm not really keen on mashed avocado. Just slice it, put it on toast.
Yeah.
You don't need to mash it. Just leave it. Just why do that?
Yeah. And then I've put in the average on the tier list just general meat apart from turkey, because turkey always ends up too dry when you roast it. So
I'm with you. I think I only ever take a little bit of meat when I have a roast. For me, it's the vegetables that steal the show. It's the roasted veg. I love that roasted veg with gravy. Just have a little bit of meat on the side, just to give it that bit of flavour. Whereas some people just go for big slabs of meat,
and you get
just
the meat
a little
sweats.
bit of veg on the side to get the meat sweats. Yeah.
I can't think of it. I haven't got any other food. I don't know if you had anything written down or notes on the food.
No, I'm with you. That I absolutely spot on. I mean, I'm having a look at my notes. I wrote down mince pies. So interesting enough, in my notes I wrote mince pies. Why can't you get them all year round?
It's like I have like this like internal infernal rage over that.
Yeah, I do, because it's just really annoying because they're so nice. You can get Mr. Kipling's apple pies. You can get all of the other pies, all of the other fruit pies and things, but you can't get mince pies. That really bugs me.
Yeah. And I know we had it in our, I'd say office, but within the company because we're spread over several offices. They did like which is the best mince pie, didn't they?
Oh yeah, there's the Mince Pie Association, which, I mean, it gets serious.
It does get serious. It's very serious.
But to be fair, pretty much all mince pies are damn good, unless they start messing around with them and they start doing mince pies with icing.
That's my big like. I can't stand. Why have you done that?
Well, yeah, why mess around with something that's just perfection, basically? Why do like a chocolate-coated mince pie or...
Jesus, don't.
Right, rhubarb... no, not rhubarb, like gin and tonic mince pie, and it's like just...
I'll have a gin and tonic with a mince pie, but don't put it in my pie.
Don't put it in the pie, just leave it alone. What next? You're going to mash it? Just leave it alone.
Oh dear. Anything else?
So no, I've got nothing because then the only thing I hadn't got to, which you can only really get them. Well, no, that's not true anymore. But just tubs of, you can just indulge in chocolate, can't you? So you can get
and tins of
tins of Cadbury's Roses or Quality Street or whatever. But and you feel better about yourself because you think, oh, I'll just. Because they're small and they're individually wrapped, so you go, oh, I'll have a green triangle. What you don't think of is when you finish unwrapping like your 15th green triangle, which is after you've had like 12 of the purple ones.
Yeah.
And 18 caramel barrels. Just because it's bite-sized, you feel better about yourself each time you unwrap one and think, it's only a little bit. What you don't think about is if you aggregate it all, it's kind of like the same weight as your leg
in chocolate. It's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like taking the wrappers, screwing them up and throwing them at family members.
Especially when they're asleep.
Yeah, that's normally all of us by sort of like 3 p.m. on a...
What I find is pure entertainment is you take the wrapper from the purple one and you kind of screw it up at lengthways to try and make it as long as possible and as thin as possible, and then see how far you can get it up somebody's nose when they're fast asleep. I think that's a great Christmas pastime right there.
Oh dear. We haven't touched on it. What's your opinion on alcohol during Christmas? Are you get up? Because isn't that the one where you get up and you have? I can never remember what it's called. It's like orange juice and bubbly, and first thing.
I mean, I get drinking, but first thing in the morning, ooh, shall we have some? You're about to shove a week's worth of calories in your cake hole over the course of the day. Do you really want to be pissing about with having, what are they called? You're right. Prosecco and orange juice and champagne and let's have some champagne and some smoked salmon and
oh god no.
What?
Yeah.
What are you on about?
I'm going to have to Google it. It's going to annoy me. Champagne and orange juice. It says it's a mimosa cocktail, but that's not the word I'm thinking of.
No, it's not.
Oh crap!
Oh my God! What's it called?
We're gonna get slewed again on a podcast, aren't we?
Oh, Dom, this is amateur hour.
God. But I mean, the story I have is so traditionally on the 24th, before pandemic, we would go to my best friend's house, and have done since I was 4, so that shows how long I've known him. And it must have been 2018. Me and my sister drove us, and it must be the year before that. It might be 2017. My sister drove us, and normally it's my dad's drives or I drive, so not normally both of us drink. And for some strange reason, we got absolutely slaughtered. Just because we could. I remember we were singing Christmas carols in the back of my sister's Corsa, and she only had a 3-door one, so we're both like squished in the back. Oh, and I woke up on the 25th, and I didn't feel too bad, but it's a bit like, I wandered downstairs, sort of like, this is it's not like I've got to get up at like 8 o'clock to start wrapping presents. It's like wandered down at 11 o'clock. It's a normal day. There's no flim flam. That's going to be a very important phrase. There's no flim flam with Christmas.
No flim flam.
And Dad goes, you're up. Do you want a rum and coke? What? No. I do not.
Oh my God.
It's way too early. It's way too early, and we were drinking all last night. How can you be having a rum and coke? So I fancied the rum and coke, so I'm going to have a rum and coke. I mean, you do you. But for me,
God,
not today. So, hey ho, yeah, and I think, and that to me sums it up. I mean, I'm not a big drinker. Like, I know I haven't had alcohol in over 100 days. So that that's not in some kind of I'm really impressive. It's just I don't need it. Why would I drink it? I've not seen anyone probably for 100 days really in person in a setting that I can drink alcohol.
Well, I haven't had alcohol in 100 minutes. I had a G&T tonight.
You started your holiday. You deserve it.
Yeah. I'm doing this. But can I just say, though, you do realise this whole podcast is going to bug me. So I've just Googled it, and all I'm seeing is mimosa, and it's not called a mimosa. No one's ever called it a mimosa.
No, it's the New Year's Day. What is the traditional New Year's Day? It's going to really bug me. Maybe it isn't just a mimosa, and that just
no. It's never good. No, it's never been called that.
It's never been called that. Right, and I'm going to finish on that kind of food thing just before we move on to our poignant questions, so we could be truly grumpy old men.
Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz.
Sorry.
Yes, that's it.
Bucks Fizz.
Jesus
right.
Christ.
I'm going to sleep okay tonight now. Genuinely.
Yeah. How did you get that? What did you Google?
I typed in alternative name for orange juice and Prosecco, and Google very helpfully just came back with the same old shite. Mimosa. I know. I don't want mimosa. I want the alternative. And it says, what do Americans call champagne and orange juice? So I didn't know that. But yeah, Bucks Fizz.
Bucks Fizz
is an alcoholic cocktail made of 2 parts sparkling wine, typically champagne, to 1 part orange juice.
Again, I think we're going to have to address this in the alcoholic special. It's only 2 ingredients. Is it really a cocktail? Because you then have to call like a Jack Daniels and Coke a cocktail, surely.
You can call a cup of tea a cocktail.
Yeah,
tea and milk. Unless you go for black tea.
Well, it's 3 ingredients because it's water, tea, and milk. Yeah,
that's a proper cocktail.
Was it a mocktail?
What are you drinking there? It's a mocktail. It's a mocktail.
Yeah, because a cocktail has to have an alcoholic thing. I don't think I've ever had an alcoholic tea.
I'd love to do that in the office. What are you drinking? A mocktail.
I mean, I've read stories where somebody was saying that their creamer that they were using in their coffee had a 20% alcohol, percentage, and And they were going, I wonder why I had such a good day when I used that creamer as part of my morning coffee before I started work.
It's a secret to success.
Secret to success. Apparently that creamer came from South Africa. But that's all I remember from that's the only other interesting fact I remembered from that story.
Oakley dokley.
Should we move on to poignant questions?
Yes, please.
Cool. Okay, so these poignant questions are all Christmas related. I've deliberately chosen things that I knew were going to get Jerry really riled. So I apologise in advance.
Thanks, Tom.
I did that because I went, does that annoy me? Yes, that means it will really annoy Jerry because it's really, capitalist slash. You said it was really. You said it really well. Dramatised earlier.
Yeah, overhyped. Yeah.
Similar to our opinions on autumn. It's,
Yes.
crispy leaves and stuff. No, it's Britain. It's just soggy. So, in the bin.
It's just rain, incessant rain. As soon as you step out of the house.
And that's one of the reasons why I think Christmas is normally like, oh, yay, snow. No, we're in the UK, people. It's just going to rain.
Last time we had snow in the UK on Christmas Day, I think it was like 1912. Ever since then, it's just been grey. Yeah. Miserable, drizzly.
I think I
That was
remember
Christmas Day.
one Christmas where we had some snow, but it was a long time ago. We're talking like 15 years plus.
You were just pissed. You were
Either that,
sinking.
I've just got it confused for when we normally get our snow at like beginning of February.
Yeah, you're confused, you're drunk, alcoholic
Probably.
haze.
Hmm.
You lost
probably-
track of time.
Yeah, I had my tea mocktail. That was the problem.
Yeah, tea mocktail.
But I was using my South African creamer in it. That's the problem.
It's deadly, I've heard.
Yes. Poignant question number 1. Secret Santa. What's your opinion on Secret Santa?
You're going to get lots of sighs.
My mum's going to love this podcast. Other than the fact that I just insulted Brussels sprouts.
God. No, you don't have to justify or explain yourself for the Brussels sprouts. That's universal. Secret Santa. What? What's that all about?
I can't.
I'm going to get you a present, but you're not going to know who it's from. What is the point?
I hate Secret Santa on many levels. Right? I'm passionately against Secret Santa. Some of them are like very moral and correct. Some of them are just pure like internal hatred and rage. So I'm willing to explain this. I'm willing to unpeel the layers of this onion.
Do it. It's going to make me cry.
So it might make you laugh. Hopefully it'll make you laugh. So I can't think of anything worse of trying to think of a gift for a random person who I don't know very well, when I can barely think of a gift that I want for myself or my best friends, right? I'm like, oh, great, I've got to do that.
I'm with you on that, yeah.
Right? Second of all, it's usually got some, like, budget limit, and the budgets usually haven't changed from, where they were, like, 10 years ago. So it's still, like, a $5 or a $10, right? And in our current inflation rate, pick a mix, that used to be, like, 500 tweets. It's probably about 3 now, thanks to, the global
You can buy
climate.
one cola bottle at the cinema.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different conversation, cinema prices. So normally the budget is some like weird budget. Also, sometimes people will go, right, well actually we'll massively upraise the budget. But then it's like, the first time I did Secret Santa, as like a 21-year-old in the company, I'm earning, like a third the amount that I'm probably earning a tenth the amount that like the CEO. So if he's taking part in the Secret Santa, a fixed budget feels a bit weird, because it's equality, but it's not equity.
Yeah.
Equity, if you know what I mean. It's not catering for that. So that it goes against my morals there. So we're on layer 2 here, Jerry. We're on layer 2. And then the third thing, then, if we go to the outer layer, is 9 times out of 10, you therefore buy either complete tat a joke present that nobody, really wants. And or you do get something that they actually, quite enjoy, but it's not something that's like really like sentimental, which means that you're wasting your money buying the gift. You're buying all this tat which does nothing for the environment or anything like that. If we talk about like the actual moral thing, you're then wrapping it in wrapping paper which 9 times out of 10 isn't environmentally friendly, and you're giving it to someone who's just going to throw it away, which then gets sent to a landfill and fills up that. And I was like, if you binned off tat and like Secret Santas, I think there'd probably be actually quite a significant drop, in environment. And even if it doesn't, it's just and this is coming from me, like I'm a massive minimalist, like I accept that, and my friends are absolutely brilliant, and they've learned I don't do tat. I call it tat, but I don't like this silly little gifts. You just think, oh god, really, what's this? And just Secret Santa just epitomizes that bit. So yeah, there's like a core hatred on Secret Santa.
Preach. Yes, I completely agree with every single word. I can't even add anything to that, but I do have an idea for Secret Santa. It's a way of, it's like a Secret Santa protest.
Right.
So whenever anyone kind of forces you into doing a Secret Santa, doesn't matter what the budget is, you just buy that value of sprouts. Now, one of two things will happen. One, it'll make your life a lot easier. You won't have to think about it, and you'll have a clear conscience because you think, you know what, just put that in the organic recycling or whatever and let it mulch down, and that's
I mean,
fine.
sprouts are so disgusting, they're near enough mulch anyway.
They're near enough mulch, but at least you can use them for compost or whatever. So you haven't got a guilty conscience about that. And two, then people will think, you know what? Somebody just keeps getting sprouts, and I'm sick of this. I think it's Dom, and I think it's Jerry. I just leave them out of it next year. I'm not having that. It's the 4th year in a row they've bought sprouts. And you think, oh, good. We don't have to do Secret Santa anymore. Yeah. It's a win-win.
And I cannot think of anything. Right, and the other, actually, there is one more thing. Joke presents, like, and where people get you things like, I don't know, you get the joke presents that are like, I don't know, a tasteful joke presents. The ones where people like put like sexual joke presents, can't stand, because I'm like, you don't know how people are. And I'm going to go on a bit of like a diversity rant here. You don't know how comfortable people are with who they are in terms of whether it's their sexuality or the gender. So putting sexual presence is just literally the worst, because it's like, haha, somebody gets a life, but somebody gets a laugh, but that in the bin. Like, I'm really passionate against that, actually. Really, that does get on my tits.
So, my wife bought me a mankini once.
Right.
Like a joke present for Christmas, and I thought, why have you done this? I'm never going to wear a mankini.
Yeah.
Exactly like the one that Borat.
Yeah. Yeah. And unless she's telling you something, she's your wife, so.
Yeah, she's telling me that I look like Borat. I should just throw a bag of sprouts at her for that.
Individually.
Frozen.
Donk.
Yeah. Charming.
Yeah.
Give me a mankini. You wear it.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to wear it. You bloody wear it. Okay.
Sexual
moving
joke
on.
Oh, right. Anyway, yeah. Moving on. Number 2, caroling.
Oh,
Is it a thing that's done in the UK?
Just shoot me now.
Is it a thing that's done in the UK, like going door to door? Because I've never seen it. I don't think I've seen it anyway. Is it a bit of a dramatized, Americanized thing?
God knows. I really don't know. But trick or treaters are bad enough. But can you imagine, Like somebody rings the doorbell when you're halfway through taking a dump, and you think, "Oh my God, is it my Amazon delivery? Because I really need that. That was the last present I was waiting for." And then you have to stand at the door, listening to these carol singers because they're doing this for charity. It's for a good cause.
Yeah,
In the
I
meantime,
don't like being
you're trying to find your
guilt-tripped.
wallet. In the meantime, you've been standing there for so long. You didn't get a chance to wipe, so now you're starting to itch.
Where we go with this? But
I don't know. It's just
it's such a. I don't like being guilt tripped. Right. That's a real big thing.
apologise for being
for
so
that.
crude.
Right. And I mean, it was PC at least. I don't have to do any beeping. But I've never experienced it. I've written down like it's like I don't like. So for starters, I never carry cash. By the way, I haven't carried cash with me and it still gets on my like noggin that we have to do cash for for squad training. Just let me put it in the bank. 2021. It'll be 2022. Bank transfer exists. But like in terms of like, you know, caroling, like I have a few friends who are very, very good singers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we go to church and we do some singing." I don't know if that's caroling. That sounds like just Christmas concert. You do
Caroling
you.
sounds dodgy.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine. Well, I mean, they are like, yeah, we do get, you know, free food and free alcohol. I'm like, I'm not going to turn down free food and free alcohol sort of thing. So you know, you don't want to hear me sing. I've got the world's flattest and nasally voice known to man. I don't know why I did a podcast.
Known to person.
Known to person. I love it. Love it.
Thank you. Thank
Known
you.
to person. Known to people.
Known to people.
Oh no, it must be person because it must be individual.
Yeah, known to.
Because we say known to man. Yeah, that's just individualistic. Anyway, but like if somebody knocked on my door and started singing, I'd be like, I'd probably ask them if they're okay, right? Because I'd just be so confused because I've never experienced somebody coming to my door to my door to
call
do it.
social services.
It depends on the age. Yes. Is this child labour?
Just stay here. Your carer's coming.
Yeah, I think it must be an American thing. If you're part of a church and you sing as part of that church and it's in the church or even in the church grounds, fab, right? But it's like for me, if they then came around asking for money, that's the same level as Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, and you don't know where that money's going.
Mm.
It might go to spoons.
I'd rather it
one
go to
cocktail.
spoons at sometimes.
Spend all your money and go, ha ha, suckers. Ding dong merrily on high. Can I just say, caroling sounds proper dodgy.
It
Like,
does.
oh, what are they doing in that car park?
Yeah.
At this time of night? Oh, they're caroling. All right. Call
Oh
the
my
police.
God.
Margaret, call the police. Edith, they're caroling again.
Yeah, I don't. Not for me. No thanks. Number 3. I've been. What's the term? I've got my diversity inclusivity on this one because I took building a snow person on this one. I didn't put building the snowman on.
Nice.
Nice. Wow.
Nice.
Look at me go. My management head on. Ugh. No. So building a snow person.
Oh, you always said it.
I did nearly say
You
it.
always said it.
It's very. It's. There are some things that are that take a while. But trying is the best thing. What's your opinion on it?
What is the point?
I've put for this one. I've really struggled with this one. There are activities that, if it was snowing, I'd rather do than build a snow person. Like if I've gone to, because you know, thanks to global warming, it's very unlikely to snow in the UK again. At least where we, you know, we're very south. You know, it's not going to snow down here. And I loved skiing, but when I went skiing, I didn't go, wow, look at all this snow. Let me build a snow person. I went, no, let me slap 2 planks of wood on my feet and hurtle myself down a mountain because that's much more fun.
Exactly.
It's like,
So what's the point?
yeah, in terms
it's okay
of like
when
tier
you're a
list.
kid. It's all right if you're a kid. I get it.
Yeah.
Kids want to do that kind of thing, but then you get adults that really get into it. And kids that get bored after about 3 minutes, but then you get adults that always have to take it too far.
I will only caveat with that and they do it with sand as well. Like those people that are really good at it and they make sand sculptures and things like that.
Yeah.
Yes, you do that. I like that. I can appreciate that. That is different.
A giant snow sprout. Do an ice carving of a sprout.
Ice carving as a sprout.
What is that? Big circular ice ball as a sprout.
Oh. I ate sprouts. What's that from?
I bloody hate sprouts.
There is a film where he's just constantly through it going, I ate sprouts.
I don't know.
It's a Disney film. Oh, don't know on that
Lion King?
one. Yeah, probably in the Lion King. But in terms of like tier list, in terms of if there was snow, in terms of tier lists of things that I'd want to do, number 1, slap 2 planks of wood on my feet and throw myself down a mountain. Number 2, snowball fight. Number 3, make a snow person. Maybe.
Number 4, don't even bother going out. Just go, oh, bloody hell, it's snowing.
Oh yeah, if it's in the UK, it's
Just go
well.
back to bed.
If it's in the UK, it's normally where's the nearest empty car park. But I can't do that with my current car, so I don't have a manual handbrake or electronic one, which is a bit shit.
Oh yeah,
So-
that's a good point.
I
Yeah,
did have a
you're right.
manual. I did have a manual car park, a manual handbrake once, and I have been around the car park that was empty for a place that we shall name nameless because I have had some fun.
Sorry, Asda.
It was an Asda.
All right, don't.
Oh dear. So yeah, snow people know. Number 4, going to a Christmas light illumination.
Just this is painful. Again, what is the point? And if people love putting all of these lights up, which takes days sometimes,
So
put
let's
all these lights up. Why don't you just do it all bloody year? Just keep all the lights up. Keep your house lit up all year.
I'll separate this into 2 categories then. Going to like doing a drive and seeing people that have put lights up, or going to like I don't know, like Blackpool and seeing them switch them on. I'm not, or your local town. I just picked Blackpool because that was the first one that came to my head that normally has lights.
How about just shutting your fingers in a car door deliberately? How about that?
I mean, I've seen the Blackpool one.
It's literally as pointless as that.
Mm.
Ooh, lights, and then you go home. What difference does it make?
Yeah.
What does it do? What does it achieve? Fireworks, I get.
Oh, okay. Because I'm
I get
against.
fireworks.
I don't get fireworks. I really struggle with fireworks.
I do love fireworks. I must admit, though, it does piss me off now because of Larry and Taco Bell.
Yeah. So this is where I split it. I like professionally done. So
Yes,
random
it has to be professionally done, yeah.
like I could appreciate maybe going to somewhere like Longley or going to a place that's specifically set them up like in the town or things like that and seeing them. I get that. I sort of get that with fireworks, less so with fireworks because I did witness the ones in Bournemouth where they instead of putting 30 seconds between each firework, they accidentally put it in milliseconds. So instead of it being like wee wee for like 20 minutes, they all went off at once. Because it was only 20 milliseconds, so all the fireworks just went pew. And you went, well, that was good. And somebody went arse. But my point being, I absolutely despise people doing fireworks at home for 2 reasons. One, because pets, animals, and other people. You know,
Yeah.
if it's a place professionally done fireworks,
I
it's
agree.
safe. It's away from like pets and things like that. And then when it comes to, but then also you just get a bunch of hooligans 9 times out of 10 doing that, and you just witness like, you know, you see it on kind of Reddit and things like that where they shoot fireworks at each other, and you just think, why is this accessible to the public? When, you know, in the UK we banned people. Well, it takes a long time to be able to purchase like guns, etc. So I know what we'll do. We'll make it accessible that they can buy a giant rocket that explodes because that's safer.
Because that's all right.
So yeah, but yeah, it's the same. It's a similar thing. I think if you get lights that are professionally done that look great, fabulous. If people want to do their lights, you know, you do you. But I'm not gonna drive round to random people's houses and be like, oh, that's pretty.
And you know, my only contribution to this part is there's that photograph of I think it was somewhere in the United Arab Emirates. I think. But it's somewhere warm anyway. And they, for a Christmas display, they put all of these lights on these palm trees.
Yeah.
That looked like a giant thumb. And it was a proper epic fail. It looked like Jeff Bezos's
rocket ship. Yeah. Yeah, no.
It looked very, very phallic, and it was a proper fail.
Yeah. And I'd like to point out, like, we've been very grumpy so far. Or I'd say...
Have we? I don't know.
I don't know about grumpy, but we've been very negative.
Negative? No, I'm not so sure.
I am 100% of the opinion. You do you. You know, you do your Christmas. You do what you want to do. But I'm a bit stubborn in my ways and like, that's not my cup of tea. So no, thank you.
At the risk of sounding militant, if I ever got into power, if I ever became Prime Minister, I would just push some inane laws through to say things like, you can't use fireworks at home. Anyone seen building a snow person under the age of 12 is liable to a fine.
Unless
like
artistic
£30,000.
license. Artistic license.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyone putting up Christmas displays before
December.
Before December can face imprisonment.
Yeah. 1st of December, you go for it. But you know,
and I'd bring in a law that says you must make mince pies available all year and cream eggs. You know,
and McDonald's burgers available
McDonald's
before
burgers.
11 o'clock.
Yeah, and I love the fact that we've been keeping that whole McDonald's thing going for like 7 episodes.
Interesting.
I had a thought. Let it lie.
I had a thought about this the other day actually, because there's a new McDonald's near where we live, or where I live, sorry, and it's 24 hours. When did they stop serving the burgers?
Ooh. Now there's a question. I think you should go in there and you should ask them.
Well,
do they stop serving burgers, start serving breakfast?
I can shortcut it because I could. I know who to ask. Because
Ronald.
No. So my manager, her son is the manager of the one in our one locally.
Yes, ask. We need.
So
to know.
I'm gonna we're gonna have to ask, aren't I?
You're gonna have to do it now. Your
It's
feet
gonna
are
be
taped to the pedals on
the
this.
first thing at my first 1-to-1 back is gonna be can you ask your son, like, what time do they stop serving burgers and start the breakfast menu? Or do 24-hour McDonald's don't have a breakfast menu and they just serve all of it all the time? Interesting. That's a thought and a half, isn't it? Really should have ended the podcast on that. It was such a great thought, but never mind. Number 5, listening to Christmas songs.
Just no. Stop. Christmas songs, Christmas music. It's the most infuriating, the most painful thing in the world.
I mean, I didn't listen to any Christmas music last year.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Like at all. At all. Like, I don't.
So my daughter loves putting on Christmas music whilst decorating the tree.
Okay.
And I have to put headphones on and drown out the Christmas music because it literally sends me into a seething rage. I bloody hate Christmas music. It's so inane. It's so stupid. It's just so false and I hate it.
It's a representation, I think, of the dramatized side of Christmas.
Yes.
Which we've kind of all been complaining about for the last 60 minutes or so.
Hate Christmas music. In fact, I don't think I can even talk about it anymore because I'll grab the microphone and just hurl it across the room. I'll just have like a Hulk moment. Destroy everything.
Like music is obviously a very personal thing to most people, but I've yet to find a brand like the type of music that I listen to. I would if that was written into as a Christmas song, it wouldn't be a Christmas song. It would be a song of that genre, and it just happens to have a Christmas theme. Does that make sense?
It does.
So it's still the same genre as what I normally listen to. It's just Christmas. It's just about Christmas. It's like whether it talks, Anyway, but actual music that sounds Christmassy that you can only listen to for about a month of the year is overdone generally, I think. And I know my mum is going to go not nuts at this one, but one of her favorite artists is Michael Bublé. Now, all his music sounds the same, whether it's about Christmas or not about Christmas. He just happens to release his album around Christmas, so he always has a song that's themed around Christmas. So I'd argue that that's not Christmas music to a certain extent. He's not my type of music. He's not my genre of music that I enjoy, but
he's riding the capitalist wave. Do you hear me, Michael? You're riding the capitalist wave.
Yeah.
I've got your number. Got your number, Bublé.
Oh dear, no. Yeah, no. I can't. Christmas music. Don't get it. Don't understand why you'd have. Because we don't have music for any other crass holiday, do we?
No, we
don't have Halloween.
Nope. Or Easter. It's just such a load of old tut. I can't stand it.
Daddy saw Mummy kissing Santa Claus or whatever.
Oh,
just
in
the bin.
Stick a fork in my leg.
Are you done yet?
I just want.
Do the juices run clear?
Yeah.
So you test if feet's done.
True. Yeah, that's very true. In your case, you just bleed. I wasn't supposed to bleep that.
I'm going to bleep that, aren't I? It's okay, I can bleep it.
Dom, sorry. You're going to bleep that. Oh no! I pushed us to the first bleep.
That's part of the outtakes.
Oh, come on!
Yes.
I knew it was going to happen. Look, that's not bad.
No,
7 episodes.
7 episodes.
7 episodes. Sorry.
I bleed the company. It sounds more sinister, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I bleed the organisation.
Sorry, I've written the timestamp down.
Oh, sorry. That's amateur hour.
Oh dear, that's brilliant. Right, let's move on to number 6 before you make another schoolboy error.
You can tell I'm tired.
Jerry's very tired. I've been off for a week from my holiday already. Jerry has just finished, and Jerry has a much more stressful job than I do. So
what? No. They're both equally stressful.
Yeah. Just has to deal with the tea lights and the flat pack furniture at home.
Which is, I'll do any day if I don't have to deal with the Christmas malarkey.
Yeah. Question 6. Making gingerbread houses.
What the actual hell? What a load of absolute load of old nonsense. What? Making gingerbread houses. I mean, someone has been smoking some crack. What? What is that about? I mean, when you break it, I told you we're going to break things down to the individual nonsensical components. I'm going to build a house. It's going to be made of gingerbread. What are you going to do with it? I don't know.
Why is it a Christmas thing? That's the bit that I don't get.
It is. It's a load of old nonsense.
I mean, like, I was like, I've basically written, why is it a Christmas thing? Like, if you want to build a gingerbread house, like, if you want to bake, and, you know, we've had Laura on, who's a very keen baker, and there's a TikTok that I sent her, and the guy basically, you know, this guy says, apparently baking is supposed to help if you suffer from depression and anxiety, but currently I made this pie and it didn't go very well, so I made this other pie and I've made this one and I've baked 14 cookies, and I'm just wondering, when does it make things feel better? And it's like,
when you eat them.
Yeah, that's actually that was the top comment.
Yeah.
When you eat them. But I was like, why is it a Christmas thing? I don't get that. I mean, some clever bright spark is probably going to tell us, but I was like, it's not something I would personally want to do. A, because I hate baking anyway. And I can understand if you made the gingerbread yourself, like you baked the gingerbread and you specifically wanted to construct it in the form of a house, you do you. And, you know, you got the Great British Bake Off and things like that, which is all great, all well and good. But I don't understand. But buying like a kit, that's the bit that I didn't. What? I was like, what?
Oh, just so irritating. It's so nonsensical. I don't even. I'm lost for words. What do you say about that? Ooh, let's build a for what?
And if you leave it too long, it goes soggy, and then you can't eat
it. Soggy. You watch your kids make it, and they get their grubby fingerprints all over this thing. Yeah, they're manhandling this thing, or person handling, I should say. Mm-hmm. Person handling this thing for so long. Do you think, oh my God, there must be like billions of germs?
Pandemic that we're currently in.
I'm not touching that.
Yeah,
get that gingerbread disease-ridden house away from me. Get it out of my face.
It's like it's a poor man's flat pack furniture, and we already know your opinion on that.
Exactly. And it serves no purpose either. At least at the end of the flat pack furniture, you've got yourself either a desk or a cupboard or shelving unit, or what have you got at the end of a gingerbread house? You've just got this gingerbread house that you don't want to eat. You wait for it to go soggy, then you chuck it in the bin.
Yeah. Confused.
I mean, honestly, there should be a prison sentence for doing that. Minimum 1 year. Excuse me, sir. We heard rumours that you've built a gingerbread. No, I haven't. No, I'm sorry. I can see one in the kitchen from here. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
Yeah, I can't disagree. I don't get it. I don't understand.
1 year, Dom. Minimum. Solitary.
Solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement. People will think twice.
You like building stuff so much, you can be the representative builder for IKEA. Go. There are other companies that do flat pack furniture, but that was the first one I could think of. Question 7. External Christmas lights. Now, on this one, I specifically meant you as a person putting external Christmas lights on your house. Now, I live in a flat, so that's not possible for me. I've written some like questions because I've never done it, and I've written some questions about like, you know, that actually had quite almost like feedback back to people that, you know, if you want to do this, you do this. Like I don't. And there's many reasons why I don't want to do this, but I've also like just got like, but then how do you make it sensible? Because, like for me, putting lights on the outside of your house normally means having to go up a ladder, right? I don't like heights. It's the only thing I can't deal with. I just can't do it.
Widths.
Or depth. Definitely depth. And so I'm like, okay, that's great. So then you put them all out. Now, knowing somebody who's had Christmas lights on and they've caught fire and they've lost their house and had a very disastrous year after it, it's a bit like, Okay, I don't feel, I'd feel unsafe in a house that's surrounded by a bunch of bulbs that are exposed to the elements that, if they went wrong, could, cause fire. Yeah, that makes me a bit nervous. Also, then there's the terrible impact to the environment, having more electricity doing. But then there's just basic questions like, well, when do you turn them on? Right? I know it's dark around this time, like 3 p.m., but when do you turn them off?
Okay. Let's say you set them all up outside your house. And I think you've given already 3 very compelling reasons why you shouldn't do this inane activity. Where do you spend most of your time during winter?
Well, I personally spend most of the time indoors because it's cold.
Exactly. Where are all those lights that you set up?
Outside.
Why? Do it. That should carry a minimum 6-month sentence, possibly more. I'd say 18-month actually, because it's not eco-friendly.
Yeah, but I mean also, but like the pragmatic approach, like, so I have a Christmas tree. I quite like my Christmas tree, but that's it. I don't have much else in my flat. And when I get up in the morning, I turn the Christmas tree on, and I can see the Christmas tree. Right? I'm like, that's nice. Done. Christmas tree in the background. Done. Nice. And when I'm walking around, Christmas tree. Nice. When I go to bed, which for me sometimes is as early as 8 o'clock, I turn the Christmas tree off because I'm not up and about. So if I had external lights, do I turn my external lights off at 8 o'clock when I go to bed? And then, then people would go, no, you need to leave them on for people, so other people can see them. Woohoo! I've got to cater for the rest of the public. It's like, well, then I'll have to put them on a timer. So what time do I switch them off? Well, do you switch them off? Do you switch them off at like 11 o'clock, which is like the normal cut-off time? You're not supposed to honk your horn in built-up areas because it's illegal after 11 o'clock. So you're not disturbing people with flashing lights who are trying to get to sleep, which I would want to switch off at 8 o'clock because I don't particularly want to disturb my own flashing lights at 8 o'clock when I'm trying to get some sleep. Or do you, or do you just leave them on all the time, and then, or do you switch them off at like 2 o'clock in the morning? I just think.
You just don't put them on, and you just don't set them up in the first place. You just don't do it in the first place.
And then I have there's one big beef that I do have with people that do put them up, and it should be illegal. Do not put sodding blue lights that flash on your house, especially if you live by a road. That should be illegal. I have no idea how much rage, because if you're looking in the rearview mirror and your house is 100 meters down the road and it's flashing blue lights, what's the first thing you think? You think, oh, where is the emergency service car that's coming up my chuff?
It's the 5-0.
No, it's not. It's Pillock who's put blue lights on his cars. Red, it's fine.
So
green,
ridiculous.
white, just no blue.
The whole thing is so ridiculous.
I had a bit of a rant there.
You did? I like it. It's better out than in, Dom. Let it
It's
out.
better than it is. It's almost as internally raging as not being able to get mince pies in July.
Almost. Not quite.
Almost. Not quite. Not quite. But it is distracting when you're driving and it's suddenly blue lights in the background.
I agree.
I think you sound like you're on the similar point.
I am gradually losing the will to live as we go down this list. I have less and less to say because I just literally lost for words.
Oh, yeah. The last three we may have a slight difference of opinion. I think maybe. I don't know.
Doubt it.
Question 8: Christmas movies. I mean,
No, I could talk for hours
go.
about this. So, it's a Christmas movie. It's the best Christmas movie. I'm right. Everyone else who doesn't agree with me is wrong. Die Hard. It's a Christmas movie. That's it. There's no arguments. There's no debate on this one. If you don't agree, you are firmly in the wrong. At the risk of me sounding a bit self-righteous.
Dictatory. That's one of my favourite quotes from The Big Bang Theory. You're being a bit like a dictator. I thought we were being nice. That's why I added the tator.
It's up there with caroling, which does sound very sinister. Die Hard, but that's about it. So everything else, that's actually got like a main theme of, like where the main theme is Christmas, and it's there's Chris. Actually, hang about. Wait, okay, that wasn't Christmas. Planes, Trains and Automobiles. That was Thanksgiving. That was all centered around Thanksgiving, and that's hilarious. That's a brilliant film. That's also a good Christmas movie, but it's not directly linked to Christmas. Which is
so I have written down Christmas is an excellent time to watch movies.
Yes.
But movies that are specifically about Christmas, where it's like Santa's fallen off his sleigh, or all of that malarkey, can do one. But Christmas is a good time to watch movies because they always have things like Shrek or the Harry Potters. It's the same set that's normally, Shrek's, Harry Potter's. Those types of movies are always on. And I always appreciate going, oh, yes, I haven't, television, movies that are on the television channels hit slightly different because you think, oh, yes, I do. I didn't think I wanted to watch that. And I missed that from like Netflix and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus because I specifically go, I want to watch that play. Whereas a television movie, you don't have a choice, but you're like, oh, but yes, I do want to watch that. And that does hit a bit different. If Shrek 2 comes on, you just think, yes. Or Hot Fuzz, one of the greatest.
I love Hot
Probably
Fuzz.
the greatest film for the greater good. It's probably one of the greatest films in the world. But actual movies about Christmas, well, there's only so much you can do.
I couldn't agree more. You summed it up perfectly. Christmas is about, it's the time to watch movies, but not watch movies about Christmas.
Yes.
That sums it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
And also, because they're always rom-coms, which means they use cringe comedy.
Yeah.
And romance, which is just super unrealistic. And as a person of how to call myself, failing romantically.
Tom,
it's like,
really?
Yeah, great. I love being reminded that. Well, and also because then it just reminds all of your family who you're inevitably around that go, oh, so when are you going to get another half? And when are you going to have kids? And it's like, how about you chew? Don't like those questions.
That's when you should say, yippee-ki-yay.
Yes. Ho, ho, ho. I have a machine gun now.
Oh, classic.
Yes. I must watch Die Hard this year.
I love it.
Yeah. Number 2 is what's number? I'm trying to think of number 2. Is that the plane one, isn't it?
It is. It's
where they're circling
when they
on the
take
plane.
over they take over air traffic control, don't they?
Yes.
And they threaten to
Yeah.
turn all of the planes into.
Well, they turn the lights off on the runway, don't they?
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the planes can't land.
Yeah.
Yeah. So must be 92. Die Hard.
Yes, because the original Die Hard is 1989, I think.
Oh no, it was 2 years off. 88 for the original and 90 for number 2.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's older than me.
What? Just had a mad moment there.
Just at the right moment. I was gonna say, wow is Owen Wilson is not in Die Hard.
You're right.
Sorry, listeners. We're just casually talking about movies. I'm not a movie buff. I haven't watched many movies, but the movies that I have watched, I normally can quote very well. So that's why we always get this.
Yeah, 1988. Amazing.
88, 1990.
Am I allowed to quote my favourite scene from that film?
You can. Do I need to bleep any of it?
Don't know.
As you may have noticed, listeners, I do the editing for the podcasts.
I love the bit where Alan Rickman is in the lift with Mr. Takagi.
Mm.
And he says, "Oh, nice suit." John Phillips, London. So I have two myself. And rumour has it Arafat buys his there. I mean, whoever came up with that line, those lines, is just genius. I used to say that to somebody I worked with, because he used to wear a suit all the time. And I used to say to him, "Nice suit. John Phillips, London. I have two myself." And then he would say, "Yes, rumour has it Arafat buys his there."
It's even better when they're on board with it.
He was a massive fan.
Oh, clearly. Evidently. Clearly. Number 9. Writing Christmas cards.
Nothing worse. That should also carry a stern prison sentence. One, because you're wasting a card.
Mm.
And you do get people, I've got people in my family, direct family, who they think if they don't give you a card for Christmas that the world will somehow just end. And it's so ridiculous. So
do you have like pieces of string hung up with like all the cards that you've got from people?
No.
Oh man,
I just want
sorry, Mum. I'm going to call you out, but you do this, and it's like, why?
No, just stop with the cards. Stop with the cards.
So I've
In
done.
this day and
I have
age-
done cards, but I'll explain.
No, but
I'll
no.
explain it in a minute.
Yeah, it's a waste of.
Oh,
those were trees. They were living things. Just so that you can write out "Merry Christmas." And what is the point?
Yeah.
You got text messages. Send a text. "Merry Christmas." There you go. Have it. Send a GIF. Send a
Christmas
Christmassy GIF. Yeah.
Can't be a good gift. So
Can't beat a good GIF.
I have done Christmas cards for those that I've done gifts for, because they're attached to the gifts, and purely because it's the only way I've got to mark on that this is the gift for that person. And I had 14 Christmas cards left, and I had 14 gifts to wrap, so it worked out perfectly. But now I'm not going to buy Christmas cards next year because I'm not going to do it.
I've got a brilliant idea. This whole thing, all of this insanity around Christmas. This is the brilliant idea. I think it's genius. Right. So you don't actually go and buy anybody a gift. What you do is you take the cost of the wrapping paper, the card, whatever gift you were going to get. So let's say you were going to get your mum, I don't know, a Pandora bracelet. I'm just making something up here. And you're going to get your dad a really nice bottle of whiskey, and you're going to get, I don't know, just let's pick on those two, right? And they were going to get you the Lego Bugatti.
Yes, please, Mum.
Yeah. Hashtag just saying.
Hashtag just saying. It would stay in your house till I bought a house, though, by the way, Mum, so you'd have to dust it.
But it'd be so worth it because you can't put a price on happiness.
Exactly. In fact, it would be never. It would be more. It would give me more happiness to do it because I know how much it will wind her up to dust the damn thing.
There you
So
go.
much so that when they moved their house this year, that she took the Lego Death Star that's still there and she's put it in cling film. So she doesn't have to dust the damn thing.
You know what? Vader would turn in his grave.
Great.
So what you do is you say, right, this is Dom. This is how much I was going to spend on you.
Mm-hmm.
I've totaled it up. So let's say it's £340, and then you say, well, Dad, I was going to spend 120. That's what it comes to in total, including the card and the wrapping paper. And then your mum would say, yeah. And Dom, I was going to get you this. And then you say to your dad, I was going to get you this. And then what you do is you just take the difference and you just do a bank transfer. That's it. Job done.
Yeah.
Well, so how much do I owe you? What's the difference? £98.47. Yeah, don't worry. What's your bank account sort code? I'll just transfer.
I
that
do.
now.
Family, I know what that is.
There you go. I'm just going to do the transfer now.
I just be like, minus 300 quid. You owe me 300 quid, excellent.
You owe me 300 quid. Cough up. There you go.
What does this opinion on Christmas cards extend to birthday cards?
Yes. The whole thing is just a waste. Just stop with the cards.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Can you imagine how much paper we would save? Having said that, the only thing that would be on my conscience is what would happen to the companies like Clinton Cards or like the independent card shops? I'd feel sorry for them, but they'd have to diversify.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree. I think it's one of those things, like, and it's the pandemic to a certain extent, like, I think exposed it very quickly. But it's like, people are like, oh, we must save this business. Why? Like, that sounds really harsh, but like, you know, if they're a business that's non-sustainable in a world, you know, in a world that's changing, they're clearly not a business that's going to survive long term. So I don't know where I'm quite going with that, but I think I've kind of got a rough point. It probably seems very harsh, but my point being, like, you know, you're right. You know, you can get eco-friendly cards perhaps these days that are recyclable, and I appreciate
a lot of them are recycled. Yeah, to be fair, but
yeah. Also, on cards, and this is my biggest beef with Asda: stop putting a price label on the damn card. We're using the world's stickiest stuff.
So when you get the card, it looks like some hamster's been scratching one spot, thinking there's nuts underneath.
Yeah, it's been wrapped in cling film, that's why. That's from the outtakes as well. That's Jerry's terrible joke before we started. I'll have to beep that one out. We just won't tell the joke. If anyone wants to know that joke, they can message either me or Jerry and we'll tell it to you. But yes, no, I agree. Like, you get to a card and it's like, why have you stuck a sticker on it? It's the world's stickiest sticker ever known to man. Like, why? And I was explaining this last night to somebody. A friend, she sent, I mentioned her, Samwise, she sent a postcard, and evidently just hadn't quite put enough No, it wasn't. No, it was sorry, it was another friend. It wasn't Samwise. It was a thank you postcard for going to a wedding. No, that's Samwise. She got very offended because I said she was 5'2". She's 5'5" apparently, but you're still 5 foot midget, so it doesn't really matter.
You're not helping. You're just digging a deeper
I'm digging a hole. My friends will hate me by the end of this podcast, but it's fine. But they sent, and she forgot to put a stamp on it, right? So thank you card, just forgot to put a stamp on it. So Royal Mail, obviously went, well, we can't deliver this. You need to pay, and it was £1, right? It was £1, but they stuck 5 stickers on the damn thing to indicate this hasn't been paid for. So when I eventually got it, after I paid for it, it had 5 stickers plus the 6th sticker to say, oh, this has now been paid for. Like, that's fine if it's in an envelope, but it wasn't. It was a postcard. So they'd stuck it over the writing, over the picture on the other side. And I'm like, and it was the world's, and I'm just like, and then, so I did, go on their chat service and go like, are you dumb, right? Did you use any common sense when you thought about this? And they're like, it's standard procedure. But did your standard procedure include making sure that you didn't use some common sense? We don't see what the problem here. Well, clearly, I need to take this postcard and shove it where the sun don't shine, because what the hell?
You should have had a go at them using Christmas parlance. You said, "Are you having a buble bath?" You're having a buble bath.
No, what I actually said was something much ruder. They said, "Oh, we don't really allow that language on this service." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, exactly."
And we know where you live.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Royal Mail do know where I live. That's the problem. That's one of the. You'd hope.
We know where you live, Tom.
Sometimes, hopefully. Anyway. Question 10: taking a holiday photo. I have to admit, like, I got to 9 and I was like, I can't really think of anything British that we also do during Christmas that I could think of. So I just picked the most Americanized one I think I could do. Although I do know people in the UK that take a holiday photo. I'm waiting for the Jerry rant to go.
What, like a Christmas selfie? You took a Christmas holiday photo?
Yeah, I put
a
holiday
family photo.
Yeah, but specifically for Christmas. So the traditional American thing is, or whether it's an American thing, well, the really traditional thing is to take a picture, like go to a place and get a professional picture shoot, photo shoot done, like wearing Christmas jumpers, and then put it on, and then when you do Christmas cards, you get Christmas cards with that photo on that you send to everybody.
Okay, it's just wrong. There's so many aspects of what you just said which are just so wrong and go against the very fibre of my being.
Taking a poop in an elevator, it's wrong on many levels.
It is wrong on many levels. And you know what? I only just thought of it, but what we could have chucked on there is wearing paper hats from the crackers
we can do that.
make your head itch.
Let's do that in a second. Let's do we can do some bonus ones. I've got a few other ones, I think, just off the top of my head where I've been just talking.
But I don't. Yeah, holiday photos. I don't know. I just don't like having my photo taken, so I hate it. I just don't like having my photo taken. Stop taking photo. But having said that, though, I then do have moments where I think, oh God, there's not enough photos of me, and if I was to die tomorrow, then people will go, I heard about this Jerry listening to his podcast. Don't know what he looks like. You go, yeah, he never took any photos of himself. He hated to be photographed. What did he look like? No one knows.
It's funny because I have Jerry on Facebook, and your Facebook profile picture is, well, it must be from a while ago, because I think your daughter is a lot younger in it than she is now.
That's right. That was from a long, long time ago. I had a lot less facial hair.
He didn't look like Keanu. He did look like Keanu Reeves, but Keanu Reeves from pre-Matrix.
Yes.
Ted and Bill kind of Keanu Reeves rather than Matrix 4.
Awesome. Yeah.
So you're no to the holiday photos?
Yeah, definitely.
I think if you sent it round as a Christmas card, cringe.
That's awful.
But if I've seen some ones where they do like a funny Christmas photo. So like, which I can kind of understand. Like I appreciate the artistry, but
what, like
if you're gonna
in the Santa outfit,
yeah, those type of things. Or that they do it so they've got like presents and the kids like unwrapping like a nuke or something like that. I don't know.
That's only in North Korea.
Well, you're not allowed to laugh in North Korea at the moment for the next 10 days, so don't mention that. But
what's happened?
Oh, it's currently the national mourning of, oh God, I can't remember. Not the current leader, but whoever his dad was, Kim Jong.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So apparently, I don't know whether it's satire. I didn't read the news sites deep enough. It might have been the BBC that I read it on, but maybe I read it on something like The Onion. But apparently, they're in a national day of mourning, and you're not allowed to laugh in public. And specifically on the day that it is, which I think is today, the 17th, you're not allowed to go shopping. We've talked about something topical on our podcast, by the way, everybody.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Keep it just between us.
Let's move on. I think we might have got away with that.
We might have gotten away with it. We would have got away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. Yeah, so I mean, like, I could appreciate, taking a photo and putting it on, taking a Christmas selfie or something like that. Going to a specific photo shoot, maybe when kids are younger.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's nice, it's good, but
yeah.
Yeah.
We are the scene from Friends where Chandler, Joey, and Ross are discussing going, it's not that we're not fun anymore, we're just 29 and we want to go to bed at a reasonable hour, sort of thing. We're those types of people. We're not outgoing people that do that. So yeah.
I feel in my stage of life that it's like if you say, oh, this is a really nice song, I really like this song, but then when you hear it for like the 1000th time in the space of a week, you think, yeah, do you know what? I'm getting a bit fed up with this. I feel like that's what I feel like. Like the novelty of everything in life is kind of worn off now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. At the risk of sounding properly grumpy and old manish, I literally find I find joy in the most unusual things now, because everything else that I'm supposed to find joy in, I just think, I'm just so bored with it. So bored with it now.
Other than this podcast and us ranting, like.
Yeah, I love this podcast. See, this is what I love about this podcast, because it gives me an opportunity to just get these things off my chest, which, for the record, it's off my chest. For the record.
It's on the record. Yeah. That's why we put the stipulation that all of these opinions are our own. Feel free to slew us where we can take it. If we ever became big and famous and we were at risk of like full trolling comments, we might change our minds on some things, but I doubt it. I think it would be a case of just don't read the comments or turn them off.
We'll see how malleable we are the more famous we become. But I will say this, opinions are like belly buttons. Everyone's got one.
Yeah, I've heard that quote, but normally with a different part of the anatomy.
Yes. Either one will work.
We've done all 10 of the things, and I know that in the improving our health bit, I'm probably going to have a little bit of another rant that we've not had enough Dom rant. But are there any other Christmas things you mentioned about Christmas hats?
Dom rant. Yeah, Christmas hats, can't stand them, make your head itch, pointless. Again, paper, it's a waste. They look stupid. You only wear them for about half an hour. Yeah, they're a waste of time.
And it's all full of tat.
They're full of tat, waste of time, not good for the environment. Get rid of them. Again, Christmas crackers, I'd say anywhere between a 2 to 10 year sentence, depending on the quality of the crackers and quantity.
Yeah.
Like, you might get a 2-year sentence for crackers that give you a set of nail clippers that, genuinely not half bad and that you will use.
I don't think we've had anything from
right
versus it's normally that stupid frog that you kind of put your finger
yeah
on
the stupid frog that would be like
which
a
gets lost
10-year sentence.
Grandma's dentures at some point.
That's the one. Or the little red fish, cellophane fish that you put on the palm and it curls up and it tells you a fortune.
Oh, just don't. I'm like, I could do an entire 2-hour rant about my opinions on like.
So that's kind of like an 8 to 10 year sentence, possibly solitary.
8 to 10 years.
Hard labour.
Off with his head. Yeah, Christmas crackers. Just trying to think. I mean, like, I kind of want to end it on a slightly more positive is probably the wrong term, but
good luck.
I enjoy this time of year. As I said, I enjoyed like spending time with direct family. I'm very glad I don't have like 47 people come over to the house. It's like, what are you gonna do? Or I'm gonna go to parents. I'm gonna have a nice roast dinner. I'm gonna catch up with the family. We'll go for a walk. We might watch a movie or something, and then I'm just gonna go to bed as normal. It's just a normal
you missed
day.
something there. You're gonna watch Die Hard and then you're gonna go to bed.
I'm probably gonna watch Die Hard before Christmas Day, I think. But yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I will as well.
And then like on Boxing Day, depending on the pandemic, I might have one part of the extended family come down, which is nice to see, but it's not like 47 of them.
It's a very specific number, Tom.
47.
47, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a nice number. And so, I do enjoy this time of year. I just think that when it gets like I think I am blessed with a family that agrees with me on about 80% of these things. We still have Christmas crackers and we still have Christmas cards, but there isn't lights adorned on the house like for, across everything. There's maybe some in the window. My mum enjoys putting the Christmas decorations up, and there's Christmas decorations in the whole house. Okay, there's Christmas decorations in my whole house, but I've only got one room, so it's a little bit tricky when you put that stuff in. But we don't do any of the flim flam like Secret Santas or caroling or gingerbread houses or things like that. There's no flim flam. I'm blessed in that. I will be thankful.
A flim flam free Christmas.
Yes, that's what we want.
Here.
How's yours going to be looking?
Yeah, flim flam free. We haven't even put the tree up yet. That's how.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's how. That's the distinct lack of flim flam that's in this household.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah.
So that tree's going to go up on the 23rd. On the 24th, I'm going to be in a mad panic. I'll just drive to the co-op at 11 o'clock at night. Just get everyone's presents last minute. Some de-icer. Some Pine air freshener.
You should be celebrating on the 24th. Well,
yeah, I should be actually.
Yeah. For those that don't know, it's Jerry's birthday is on Christmas Eve. So, yes. We've both
said about that. The best.
Yeah, we both me and Jerry unfortunately have some of the world's worst birthdays.
Yeah.
The joys of being a Capricorn. So yes. We both just got distracted because we're using a certain meeting function. It's just come up saying you've got 5 minutes left in your scheduled meeting, and I was just like, really, have we? I was like, it doesn't matter. I got very worried then it was going to kick us out.
We're not going to be constrained by the shackles of notifications.
How dare you? Cool. Okay, let's move on to improving our health. And I will. Obviously, last time we were doing this, we discussed process goals a little bit. We didn't set anything for us, which I think was a good thing, because I think we'd realised it built up and probably was starting to struggle, and we were doing output goals, I think, and I'd have a bit of a epiphany on this. We're talking about like process goals and just showing up, and so in the discussion I've written down previous health choices, like we didn't do anything, and I think actually probably are better for it. I think.
Yes, agree.
There's not that
no
pressure. Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah, and I know that you're probably still reading 3 million pages a day because you like reading.
I have even struggled with that. That's how tired I've been. Yeah, I've even struggled with that.
Yeah.
It's been so busy since we did the last podcast. Bonkers is the only word to describe.
Yeah, full hurricane.
Oh, it's crazy. I'm so glad that I can now. I've got a 2-week break. I really need it.
Yeah, and what was interesting for me was on kind of those like process goals and that thought about it. So I realized that some of I looked back at some of our previous health choices and was like, what am I trying to do with those? What's my output? And then I was like, well, let's just turn it into process. So actually, I done really well in some of like the previous ones. I mean, obviously, I still drink water. According to Laura, I need the constitution, the water constitution of a jellyfish, and so that's not a problem. But I actually did how to call it. So I'm back doing Sudoku puzzles every day.
Cool.
That's getting a bit more challenging to finish a Sudoku puzzle, but that's okay because that's not the process goal. The process is to do a Sudoku,
Sudoku puzzle. Exactly.
So it's not saying do a Sudoku puzzle. It's saying even if I input one number, that's still a process. And I had one today, and it's switched up like I've gone far enough in the book now. It's gone up a category. It was a freaking humdinger of a one. I was like, freaking took me about 20 minutes, and I was like. And I got 3/4 of the way through it. I was thinking, oh God. And I was like, I'm going to finish this because I want to get this done. It's sod. I did it. Did it successfully. And you get back. But the process goal is just like showing up and doing a thing. And so I tried to apply that to other things. I unfortunately have been a little bit sick, so I haven't done as much exercise as I normally do. But that's okay. I was like, this whole.
Yeah, I've had a cold as well. I forgot.
Yeah, I think it's stress as well. And one of the interesting things is, although I've not done as much exercise, I took some time to relax. I actually did some meditation. I've kind of tricked myself into doing it because I've bought something. So I bought like a subscription. So I'm like, well, I've got the subscription. I should really use it because it's quite important. But I had like no aims I was like, okay, like the first day it was like, what's the minimum time? 2 minutes. Okay, go. Right. And, got into the thing, started doing it. And I was like, oh, 2 minutes is done. Okay. That was easy. I'll bump that to 5. And like got into the thing, started doing it. Oh, that's done. Bumped it to 10, got to about 8 minutes. And I was like, flipping Nora, kill me now. So I bumped it back down to 5. And I was like, okay, that's fine. That's okay. I did that. So I did 10 days and then I stopped. I've deliberately stopped because I wanted to see the contrast. And I track kind of my mood. Like I have done, I journal and things like that. I've got a new journal, which I just have like this thing that just says write in it every day. And even if that's today was complete bollocks, that's written in the journal. It's got specific questions about like appreciation and things like that. So sometimes it's just, I appreciated that I didn't do anything today.
I appreciate just how bollocks this day was.
Yeah. I appreciated I survived this day. You can put a positive spin on it, and it's actually been really good. I did the meditation, and my mood has dropped. Actually, I had when I was doing the meditation, and considering I was still at work when I was doing the meditation as well, my mood was a lot higher than it has been this holiday. Now, I think that might have been...
Not during a meeting, I hope.
No. I was, just... Well, I don't know. There's a couple of meetings that I'm sometimes thinking I could be doing something more productive.
Paint the eyeballs on your eyelids and then just meditate.
Watching paint dry. I wear glasses so I can just do that.
That's true.
So it was an interesting experiment to do, and I was like, okay, so that's done something, and I haven't been able to get back into it because I started being like, well, I want to feel that good mood again, so I'm going to go back. And then I was like, oh, I can't be bothered. So I'm really having to kind of force myself to do a process goal around that meditation to bring it back together. So that's how kind of what I've been doing and how I've been looking at it. And I really wanted to kind of get that point across that over like the next 2 weeks, I'm going to have a think about what we want to do for this improving our health section, and whether we want to do something more topical, or whether we want to actually look at like some things, and have a bit more of a mind map from our side, and any suggestions from the listeners to be like, what do you actually want to see from this section? Because we did a lot of failure, and as we said, failure is first attempt in learning.
That's the one.
Yeah, double thumbs up. And I think it'd be nice to now talk about some of these things to see where we are, especially in terms of our headspace. So,
yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think certainly what if on a humorous level, what it's taught me is setting my own personal health goals makes me realise just how bad I am at meeting my health objectives. But it also has made me realise that how much pressure it does put on, which is why I love that moment that you had where you just said, look, we're approaching this all wrong. Bro, we're approaching this all wrong. We need to be focusing on process goals, which is such a better way of looking at things. But, everything's balance. Is it the spoon?
Spoon theory.
Spoon theory. And sometimes you just have to save those spoons for other things. The spoons get used up by other things, and it's tough. That's the way that it works. And for me, you see, the crazy thing is now, and I will have another realization moment, which I've had so many times before. I go through this cycle. I've got 2 weeks off. Over the next 2 weeks, my body shape will change because I'm not going to be sitting on my arse all day in front of a laptop. I'll be a lot more active. I'll be getting stuff done around the house. I'll feel really productive. All those things that I need to get done, all those chores, all those things that I've been putting off. So I think, I need the time and the energy to do that. I'll get all of that done over the next 2 weeks. I'll feel better. I'll look better. I'll get to the end of the 2 weeks. I'll come back to work and I'll be thinking...
I'm just going to interrupt you very quickly, but those are not your goal is not feel good, look better. Your goal is to get stuff around the house. Your goal is to do a process. Your goal there is to, whatever I need to do around the house, I need to do it. Whether that's put together a flat pack piece of furniture or stick up your wife's 30 next set of tea lights. The process is that.
The process is that. Yes.
not the output goal of, oh, I'm going to feel good and look better. So
No,
that's the key distinction.
Yeah, that is the key distinction. The output will be the byproduct of
the process.
Of the process.
Yes.
And I'll feel a lot better for it. And I know that I'm going to feel a lot better now over these 2 weeks. That's the irony. Which then kind of makes me question my life choices in terms of what I do. I mean, I do what I do out of necessity, so I'm not going to beat myself up about it. But you do realise just how restricted you are in terms of energy levels, in terms of how much you're chained to your desk. Just work is very, very consuming. In any organisation, it's just very, very consuming.
And trying to then put a process goal that doesn't have an output goal then is really difficult, because the process goal should be get up from your desk. But it's really difficult to do that, because that becomes an output goal of, it's so output goal driven that's really difficult. And it's really, you really have to change your mindset. It's so difficult because so for example, I'm going to take Taekwondo, which I do at a reasonable level, and I've never been successful, and it wasn't till about 6 months ago that I realized it's because my mentality about it's been so wrong for so long. And I've been talking about retiring and not doing Taekwondo or not competing, and I'm like, and then I went to a tournament for the first time in a while, and I was really annoyed because I really enjoyed it. And I went in with the first time ever, I went in properly with a different mindset, which was, well, it doesn't really matter what happens because it's been a pandemic, so whatever. But I was like, it's a training session, so I just need to do a couple of patterns, and I need to then, do some kicky punchy with some pads on. It's fine, and I really enjoyed it. And even the sparring where I fought one person who is significantly better than me and has been for years, and he's a really nice guy, and he's just so much better than me. It's unbelievable. And then I fought somebody else who I don't think I've ever fought competitively before, which is rare at kind of my level. And I was like, I'm just gonna get stuck in and see what happens. And he won in the end, but it was good fun. And I really enjoyed it. I was like, the process there wasn't like, I wasn't looking to beat this person. I was just like, the process was, I'm just looking to go and do another training session. And I even said this last night to my coach. I'm now not going to retire because the process goal is to just show up. I'm just going to go to a tournament. Like if I win a medal, if I don't win a medal, it doesn't really matter. The process goal is, this is a training session. This is a training session. This is a training session. There will be output goals. You still need output goals in life. And I haven't quite figured out that balance yet. But I need to probably read a bit more into it. But, I take stretching. I don't stretch enough because I'm always like, I need to be able to do the splits. I constantly think about the output goal of stretching rather than the process goal of just stretch. Whatever happens, happens. That's the difference, I think.
Yes, yeah. Permission to just say something a bit humorous and a bit silly.
Yeah, always.
You've given me an idea. I think we ought to arrange a fight between you and Jackie Chan, for example. Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'd love to see what they can do against somebody that knows Taekwondo, like properly knows Taekwondo, is good at Taekwondo in real life. And I'd love to see battles between you and you versus Van Damme. That would be awesome.
You put me too much on a pedestal, by the way, because I am a terrible sparrer and a terrible fighter. But there are people there's many people that are better than me. Jackie Chan actually is very competent in martial arts. I think he used to compete.
And Van Damme.
Yeah, Van Damme karate.
And Steven Seagal. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, like that, because that's another process goal. Like people always go, like, why do I still get in the ring with like the people that are at top of the game? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you get into the ring and go, okay, he kicked the snot out of me, but what did he do? Well, no, yeah. But what did he do to kick the snot out of me? Well, he moved better. He can kick better. He can do that better. And it's like, or he did this specifically. You go, well, that's a really good idea, actually, isn't it? There's this whole mantra about you are the people that you are the distinction of the people that you hang around most with. That's why this podcast exists, because you were the genius that went, yeah, let's do this podcast, let's go. And the next thing you're going, oh, I bought a mic, Dom. Oh, crumbs! I need to actually get my, but the point is that you pushed, and so you
that's true.
still push.
Yeah.
But in terms of like you've mentioned about spending too much time at the PC, and we've discussed it within work and outside of work about looking after each other. It's going to be one of those like, well, have you done a process goal? Have you done a process to get away from the PC at least for 5 minutes?
No, I haven't. This is the problem.
Yeah.
I need to. I have to fundamentally rethink how.
So I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah.
The phrase "I need to" is one of the damning phrases that you then that puts you off. So what
Yes,
it
you're
does,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the way to reframe it. And I've done a lot of reframing over the last thing, and it's so hard. I get to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get to go to Taekwondo and get the snot kicked out of me. I don't need to go to Taekwondo. I get to do that. I get to go to the gym. I don't need to go to the gym. I get to go to the gym. And that's not about some kind of moral high ground and sort of going, oh, I need to think about others that have less than me. That's purely a kind of a psychological, scientific kind of switch in the brain that reframes it, so you're less likely to go. I don't go, I need to do meditation. I go, I get to meditate and have a think.
Yeah.
I get to, I don't think, oh, I need to eat healthy food. It's like, oh, I get to, make this chicken and stuff. And I've started to come up with recipes to make it nicer. So, yeah.
I get to make that gingerbread house.
That's got all the snotty kids all over it.
Yeah, you are what you eat. Germ-ridden
gingerbread
house.
So yeah, I mean that. Sorry, I did interrupt. So
no, that was it. No, I think you picked that up. You picked up and finished that off perfectly. You're right.
On the next bit, the next health choice, I've written down like New Year's resolutions, and this is where I thought I'm going to go into a rant. I'm very scared. I'm just going to rant, right? Because I don't believe in New Year's resolutions anymore.
Neither do I.
And the reason being is, if something is good enough to do for a New Year's resolution, it's good enough to start when you had that thought.
Why hold it off?
Yeah.
Why think, I've got a brilliant idea. Oh, think about it's August. Shit, it's 26th of August. Oh, I don't have to wait until New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the point?
Yeah. And most New Year's resolutions are, I'm going to eat healthier. Right, well, for starters, winter is the harder time of the year to eat healthier anyway. The other point, and don't get me wrong, by the way, I've set New Year's resolutions in the past, so this is all stuff that I'm learning now, and my opinions have changed now, and we're totally inclined to, allowed to change our opinions. So come at me, bro. I bought the journaling book. Must have been like it must have been 2 weeks ago, because I've done 2 weeks now. And I was like, oh, I'll start that in the new year. And I was like, no, you idiot, start it now. You've bought it because you know it's gonna be a good thing, so do it.
Exactly. And
I'm doing it, and it is improving. There's things I'm more appreciative of. I'm getting a bit more thought process into things. You do a bit you do 3 minutes in the morning, 3 minutes in the afternoon. Well, they say 3 minutes, but sometimes it's like, oh, I need to have a think about this. It's 10, 15, and sometimes it's like, no, I know exactly what I'm writing today. And it sets you up for the day, and it also finishes off the day. And I was like, but no, you idiot, just do it now. Like, don't wait till the new year. There's no point. And say, oh, is it going to get interrupted like during Christmas? Well, no. If you're really determined to do this, and you think it's a process goal, the process goal was to fill it out. There's no output from it. Just the process goal was to fill it out. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's Christmas Day. I'm still going to get up, and the first thing I'm going to, well, it's probably going to be about the third thing I do normally. But unfortunately, normally the first thing you have to do is go to the bathroom. Anyway, the point being is, like I'll fill it out still, even if it's Christmas Day. And you know, it might just be that when it asks me the question is, what are you appreciative for? I'm like, well, I appreciate it's Christmas Day. Yippee! Holiday, happy days, done. You know, and you know, we've been grumpy old men about Christmas Day, but I do appreciate the day. It's a day. It's nice to get to see family, little etc. Things like that. So yeah, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because if it's good enough to start it when you have the original thought, regardless of whether it's the 26th of August or the 1st of January.
Hear, hear. I can't add to that because you just said it perfectly.
Yeah.
And actually, I can add to that. One thing I will add to that is it goes back to you make a New Year's resolution, you're putting that pressure on again.
Yeah.
Right. So why go into that? Why go back into that spiral? It's not worth it.
Yeah. 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 It just. Yeah. It makes no sense.
God, you know, I haven't done this. Oh, but that was my New Year's resolution.
Yeah,
I haven't
exactly.
done very well now. I'm only a week in. Oh, and I'm going to beat myself up because I slipped after a week.
I'm a week in, so I'm now going to start it January the 1st, 2023. No, you idiot. Just you've had what? Because but genuinely, you might have one day, and people, you know, healthy eating is a really good example. You know, I've harped on a little bit about how like not overeating at Christmas is a real big like thing. You know, just have a normal meal. Like fill it with Christmas food, but have a normal meal. You know, don't have 12 mince pies, have one. I will have 12 because I freaking love mince pies, but that's another story. With cream, maybe custard. The point...
Or both.
I've not had that.
No, actually, no. What am I talking about?
Yeah, you can't have cold and hot.
Ignore me. Ignore me. Yeah, you can't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, just...
And cold custard is not really... Is only good in a trifle.
I don't know. I like cold custard with pretty much everything because I just love custard. And I love cream, but why would you mix the two? That's insane.
Only on a trifle.
Oh, yeah.
Cream, custard, jelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it would work. If cold custard and cream on with a mince pie, maybe, but you can't have hot custard and cream.
No, that'd be odd.
That would be odd. I can't remember what I was saying before that. Oh yes, overeating on Christmas Christmas food. So, you know, but let's say you do overeat on Christmas Day, and let's say you're one of those people that have a family that have loads of food, and you do overeat on the 27th. But let's say that for the other 363 days you've nailed your diet. That's fine. We as humans are naturally perceived to look at the negatives in life rather than the positives.
Not me.
And that means that you always look at the days that you failed rather than the days that you succeeded.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. And I think I've got one more written thing here. It's like one of my process goals was to be have more kindness, which sounds really weird because although we've kind of slewed everybody in their Christmas choices, I you know, actually at the end of the day, you do you. You know, as long as it's not shoved down my throat, you do whatever you want to do.
Live and let live.
But the kindness thing, like stretches forward for me in terms of self-kindness as well. You know, if anybody heard how I talk to me and myself in my head, you'd be like, holy moly. and I was like, oh, I set that as a New Year's resolution. No, you idiot. Start it now. Like, yeah, just whatever. It was like a Thursday. And I was like,
I like that.
You know, just start it. And actually, maybe by the time you get to if you start it now, when you've got no other distractions like work, when you come back into like the new year and you're back into work, you may have already still formed that habit of the process goal to do it.
True. Brilliant. That's brilliant. Nothing I can add to that.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about the last bit. I'm going to leave that for another podcast, I think.
Cool.
Wow. We're done. I think.
We're done. Only one bleep.
One bleep. It's not a swear word.
It's not a swear word either.
Jerry, you know what I'm going to ask? Final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Okay, I'm going to be a bit selfish about this and just say thank you, Dom, for giving me the opportunity to get all this stuff off my chest. Thank you for making this all a reality,
Hmm.
and the fact that we're finishing off recording our 7th podcast. That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so rewarding each time, and I love it. And I love you for it as well. Brilliant. Thank you for being such a good friend. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for making this happen. Yeah.
Oh, you get all the thanks because you were the one that just went, yeah, let's do this podcast. Let's do it. And then you're like, I've bought a mic, Dom. What do we do next? And I'm like, holy moly, you have no idea how much, like, not panic, but like are we doing this thing? I should get my thumbing gear, shouldn't I? It was lovely.
It's interesting. I actually did it. I almost did that on autopilot. It felt like such a right thing to do. I only did 2 days of research, but it was intense research, and I'd already made my mind up as to what I was going to get. And I ordered it, and it was here virtually the next day.
Did I mention the 5 second? I've mentioned the 5 second rule to you, where you count down from 5 and over, and to force yourself to do things. Force yourself's the wrong term, but when you're hesitating over sending that email, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do it. Just do it. It's a split-second decision.
Yeah.
And I think that specific bit for you was a split-second decision of let's do it, and there was no change in doing that. So
I didn't even think about it. Just did it, and look at this. 7 podcasts later, man. That's just. It's epic.
So good.
Love it. I just love it. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the listeners. We are recording this on 17th of December, so we'll say to each other, to both of us, it'll be a happy birthday and a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Yes.
This is my last podcast in my 20s. I know, it's a big birthday for me. For the listeners, you'll obviously hear this on the 1st of January. So while I kind of bashed New Year's resolutions, it is a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to reflect. If I'm going to have some final thoughts, it's a good opportunity to reflect, and it's a good opportunity to come up with goals, whether those be process or output. So do take that opportunity to just have a think about how you want to do it. We hope that this year is the best that it can be, regardless of what the world throws at us. So we both love and appreciate you as listeners to listening into this. I love and appreciate Jerry for doing this with me. And we shall finish it there. So thank you very much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Take care, everyone.